Jerry Krause was the villain. And the thing about it, I said this on Twitter, you cannot blame Jerry Krause for breaking up the Bulls without blaming Reinsdorf, because Reinsdorf was the owner. He signed the checks. He was the one that gave the final green light. He made Jerry Krause the villain so he wouldn't have to be, because he ran up out of Chicago. And he knew that.
I mean, I definitely agree with it, but one of the things I was talking about with Britt Johnson, she's a diehard Cowboy fan. And I was telling her, and I was like, so I was telling her, you know, as bad as, and I agree wholeheartedly. Every time, even when the camera would cut to him, he would kind of do this like shoulder shrug, like, that was Jerry Krause's job. I have nothing to do with that. You're the freaking owner. What do you mean you didn't have anything to do with that? But I will say this. Even though obviously the man's lying, he's the owner. He can literally put his foot down and say, look, this is what it's going to be. But imagine the Cowboys if Jerry Jones would let a GM actually be the GM. Imagine if he would say, I trust you. Because that's the thing. Jack of all trades, master of none. That is actually a saying. Because when you got your hand in every single pot, you're going to mess up one of those pots. So I appreciate him to a certain extent letting Jerry Krause be Jerry Krause and GM that team. But
the thing with the Cowboys, real quick, is the fact that it's worse for the Cowboys than it was the Bulls.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the Bulls actually had somebody else. He was just your minion. He was your lapdog, so to speak. When I look at the Cowboys, they have nobody. It's Jerry and then everybody. It's the
they
United,
have an actual GM, just nobody knows who it is.
It's the United States of Jerry Jones and him. He's the emperor. He's the king. Same thing with Reinsdorf, except he knew how to make, because he was in a larger market. You're in the third largest media market in Chicago. You are not, and you're in a major city like Chicago, you are not going to sit up there and be the bad guy and get ran up out of there. So Jerry Krause was the Thanos to the Bulls being the Avengers. He single-handedly destroyed that team.
But Thanos was right, though.
Was he?
Thanos in the movie was right.
Was he?
Yes.
Some say yes, some say no. What I'm saying is the pure fact that Thanos did have an ego, because he did have an ego, and that's what propelled him, whether he had some missteps.
Nobody in the NBA does not have an ego.
Yeah, but his ego, Jerry Krause's ego usurped better judgment, and that was the fall.
Well,
and
like they said,
that's the problem.
He had the short man complex.
He had the short fat man complex.
And, you know, Jordan and them did not make it better. All through that thing, you heard Jordan say, you want to play basketball with us? We're going to lower the rim.
But why would you? But here's the thing with Jerry Krause and Reinsdorf, for that matter. You have Michael Jordan, right? Arguably got drafted number 3. You were fortunate to trade for Scottie Pippen from the Seattle Sonics to the Chicago Bulls.
They already had that in place before they even...
Right, but I'm saying anything could have happened. So you were fortunate to get that trade to move. Everybody was on the same page. You moved Scottie Pippen, whatever. The thing about it was this. When you won 5 championships, in the final year, 97-98, you wanted to start to rebuild. Why would you rebuild instead of retool when you had a product? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That is a saying as well. It wasn't broke. You made little moves here and there. Okay, you got Steve Kerr in this second wave versus having John Paxson in the first wave. Okay, you got Tony Kukoc, who was a 6'11" guard who could handle, who had handles. Now, you moved on in the beginning before the first three-peat. You moved Charles Oakley away and got Bill Cartwright. Right?
Yes.
And the thing about it was...
Which worked out great for both franchises.
It did in the end. It did in the end. Not so much in the beginning, because this is when Jordan was going up against the bad boys Pistons teams and getting knocked around like he was silly. And and the reason why that happened is because he had no muscle on the team. If you had a Charles Oakley on that team, I guarantee you, Charles Oakley was not going to allow Michael Jordan to be banged around that much like that. He would have got after Rick Mahorn. He would have got after Bill Laimbeer. He'd have got after John Sally, for that matter. Anybody that was messing with Michael Jordan, Charles Oakley wasn't having it.
Yeah.
He showed that early on when he was a member of the Bulls, when Jordan was a young pup. So to me, certain sacrifices had to be made. However, during that first run, you had Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, who was a terrific player.
Horace Grant, yes.
You had Michael Jordan. You had Doug Collins before that didn't work out, and then you finally found the lock, that the master key that unlocked the lock in Phil Jackson. That's what got them to the 91 finals. They finally got over the hump against the Detroit Pistons, because they were getting beat up damn near 2 years, almost 3 years in a row. I say that to say, when you did 3 straight championships, I don't give a damn what era you're in. It's hard to win 3 straight times.
Yes, it is.
Michael Jordan once said, anybody can do it once, but can you do it twice? Can you do it 3 times? Can you do it more than that? That determines a champion. In my estimation, for you not to want to pay Scottie Pippen or Michael Jordan, because back then they didn't have big time contracts. Jordan signed an 8-year deal for like $25 million, which was nothing. That's why he was the lowest paid superstar that had hundreds of millions of dollars of endorsements. Outside of that, yet he was the lowest paid superstar. You had Scottie Pippen that signed a 7-year deal at $18 million.
See, but this is what I keep telling people, and because I feel like the Chicago Bulls definitely, I mean, yes, they exploited Jordan, but they overly exploited Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen came from poverty, a family of 12. His dad was in a wheelchair. His sibling was in a wheelchair. Yeah. You could have told him he's going to get $18 million over 30 years. He would have heard $18 million and he'd have rocked with it. And they exploited that, and they was wrong for doing that. And I don't think, I was kind of surprised to hear Michael Jordan say that he felt that Scottie Pippen handled that situation selfishly, because I would have done the same thing. I would have ahead and done my injury the same way.
At the time, I can see Jordan's point, because Jordan was all about winning at all costs.
Okay, but still, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Well, here's the thing too. He was about, look, man, his mentality, whether right or wrong, was, look, let's win and show them why we shouldn't be.
We already did that.
No, but he was saying, look, let's keep winning. The more we keep winning, the more we can anticipate. And I'm saying in Jordan's perspective, I'm not saying I necessarily agree with that, but I understand it. No different than I understand Scottie Pippen's point of view. Like, yo, I got $18 million. I can't gamble with. What if they say, well, look, you missed out on the 18, so now we're gonna knock it down to 15. Mm-hmm. So now you done lost $3 million. And back then, we didn't have what we have now, where you can, okay, I can miss out on $3 million because I'm gonna make it up in endorsements. I'm gonna sign a $10 million endorsement deal with some phone company that's gonna make me $10 million. So I'm good, right? I can get a development deal from Nike for $10 million. I'm straight, right? But back then, those deals weren't developing yet. Michael Jordan carried the league. Michael Jordan put the league on his back.